Hey everybody, welcome to Drunk Dudes in a Gun Room. Hey, today I have got Barbara Sims. Let me bring her on.
1 second. Did I go away? Oh, there I am.
There you are, yep. Hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming
Hey,
on.
thanks for having me.
Hey, no problem. So, tell everybody a little bit about your military background. I know you were in the Marines.
Yes, I served 4 years active duty from '05 to '09, and I was an 0481 landing support specialist, which means I made a lot of gear pallets and loaded and unloaded aircraft a lot.
All right. What made you decide to go in the military?
Um, so I was in 11th grade when 9/11 happened, and it kind of, ticked me off like a bunch of other people,
Yeah.
and I felt like I needed to do something. I also was living in a small town.
It was Brian Murphy just saying what's going on.
I
Said
saw the
hello.
pop up. Yeah. Hey. But yeah,
But
so I was in a small town and grew up, poor and all that good stuff. So it seemed like a good option for me.
that is awesome. So Brian Roof runs another podcast called and now that he knows that you're a Marine, he's probably going to hit you up about wanting to be on a show. But it's called Every Day is a Saturday, United States Marine Corps. So I'm sure you'll be getting the email or something.
Nice.
So you go into the were you doing any music before military or
No, I mean, I've always loved singing, but I grew up like really shy.
okay.
Um, I would sing like in front of my family, like my sisters and my mom, and that's about it. Um, and then when I was in the Marine Corps, um, karaoke, you know,
Yeah.
I always loved writing. Like I won a lot of writing contests growing up.
Okay.
Uh, like Lieutenant Governor's Award. Um, I've got poems published and all that good stuff.
Okay.
But I never learned an instrument. Nobody in my family was really musical. Like me and my sisters would always like sing together, and my mom would be singing, but we never like it was never like serious. And
Okay.
then I was singing karaoke in the Marine Corps, and everybody's like, "You have a really good voice." I'm like, "Cool, I like singing," but
did
I never.
did it take any liquid courage to get you up on the stage
Oh,
when you came in the
absolutely,
Marines? Yeah, yeah.
absolutely, yeah,
It would take a lot of bottles to get me up there too.
yeah. Yeah, no, and then I didn't even start pursuing it seriously until 2015.
Brian Brian was asking when you were in. It was you said 2000 to 2004,
No, 2005 to 2009.
2005 to 2009. There you go, Brian. Yeah. So you
I
go in the
can't
Marine
see
Corps. What's that?
I can't see the chats. Am I supposed to be able to see it?
I can bring them up. They don't have it with StreamYard.
Okay.
But when I do bring it up, it'll like kind of minimize you. So a lot of times, I try not to bring all of them up. But
Dragon.
um, so did you do any deploying over there when you was in the Marines?
Yeah, I did one deployment to Iraq,
Did
06,
you
07.
did you take a guitar or anything with you on your deployments there?
I couldn't play guitar back then.
Oh, you couldn't.
No.
So you didn't learn until you got out, huh?
Yeah, I turned 30 and decided to learn.
Wow. Man, yeah, one of the things, and I think this is another thing that kind of drew me to this radio station is I'm not musically talented at all, but I remember all the deployments I went on, and I would see the soldiers sitting in front of their tents or the chews, whatever we were at, and you'd see them playing guitars and messing around and just shooting the shit. And the camaraderie that came from that, I recognize that even though I wasn't, into music and everything back then. But it's really cool how a lot of the people kind of went from that into the music industry from just playing. I had a band on here called the Blackberry Jam Experience, and they literally made their name up from an MRE rapper. So, but yeah, they all stuck together and they're still playing. So, but
Yeah, I loved listening to people play, but I was never, it just never clicked in my brain that I could do that.
yeah, So when you got out of the Marines, how did you go straight into music, or did you pursue a different career before then?
I did not go straight into music. I got out in 2009.
Oh,
Am I here?
yep, you're
Okay.
back.
Yeah, I got out in 2009, and I call the years following my service as my aftermath.
Okay.
Um, like a little black hole in my life that I won't go too deep into, but
Yeah,
no, I did not pursue music right out of it. I drank away a few years.
I can
Um,
relate.
I went into inpatient treatment a couple times. I did odd jobs here and there. I tried to go to school a few times. I moved like every year,
Yeah,
just trying to figure out where I wanted to be. Because I didn't really have like a home. Like my sisters were both military. My mom had moved a few times. We were all kind of spread out.
yeah,
Um, so when, some people they'll get out and they'll go back home. And, I didn't have that. So I just kind
yeah.
of, I drifted for a little bit.
I get that, and it's not uncommon. The first couple years, and those were the hardest for me too. When you first get out, those first couple years, at transitioning into the civilian world, I think that's the worst time for most soldiers. And the path that people take is all different. So no, I absolutely do get it, and I still drink today, but I don't drink near as much as I used to. Now I
Right.
have what I drink a week. I would probably drink in 2 hours in my older days.
Yeah.
So
I might drink once every few months.
yeah. So a lot of musicians I've talked to, they said that they'll have a couple drinks before they get up on stage. Sal Gonzalez said that um, he uses it to warm up his vocals. That's what he said he uses it for.
How
Uh,
that works.
yeah, I would need some liquid courage to do it. So I relate.
Yeah.
Whatever the excuse is, I would need it. So
Yeah, I like to have a little bit sometimes, but um, if I drink too much, then I can't play the guitar, so it's just a mess.
yeah, no, I
I
get it.
limit I limit myself. I try to keep it to tea and water and sometimes beer. I
Yeah,
cut out the whiskey because um, health reasons.
yeah, yeah.
Not good for.
I drink mostly bourbon is what I drink, and like I said, I drink because I want to. I don't drink because I feel I have to. So I think that's the biggest difference. And when I was driving truck, man, yeah, I can relate. And I guess that's why when I heard your story and about how you're doing things now, I really, I don't know, I just kind of really related to it because I remember not even knowing it. I thought I was doing the right thing by starting my own business and becoming a truck driver because I always wanted to own my own business. But I didn't realize the damage I was really doing by putting myself in a truck for 650 miles a day for 6 weeks at a time, living by myself, and isolating myself. And I just kind of went, like you said, deeper into that hole. And so yeah, no, I do get it. And all that took place in the first couple years transitioning when I got out of the military. So yeah, I do get it. So where did you take up music before um, guitars or before Operation Encore? Were you gigging and everything before that came about, or is that what kind of pursued you?
Yeah, so I decided to pursue music professionally in 2015. I couldn't play guitar or anything, and I found a organization called Creative Vets, and
Yep,
they brought me out to Nashville for 3 days, and I hung out with Richard Casper, and we wrote a song, and they gave me a guitar, and when you get a free guitar, you got to learn it.
absolutely,
But then,
absolutely.
like a month later, I was hiking the Appalachian Trail, and I had a Martin backpacker guitar, and so I learned to play on that while I hike, um, like literally learning as I'm
Yeah,
hiking. And I
yeah,
wrote a few of my first songs on guitar out there. Like I'd written songs before, but I didn't have the musical ability to put, guitar or
right.
anything like lyrics and melody. But these are my first songs that I used the guitar and I put them together. So
That
that
is
was fun.
awesome.
And then when I finished the trail, I went back to South Carolina for a little bit, and my sister had a friend that owned a tap house, and they gave me my first gig. And I remember he was like, he's like, if you can do 3 hours of material, I'll give you the gig. And at that time, I could play like 3 songs.
Well, he didn't say it couldn't be on loop.
I practiced. I practiced for like a month straight, and I got together 3 hours of material,
That's
and I went
awesome.
and played my first gig. Yep. And then I moved out to Colorado in April of 2017,
Hmm.
and I started gigging almost immediately. I got like a regular gig at a little pub out there, like right across from where my apartment was, and I played there a lot. And then I started adding more and more, and kind of learning the ins and outs of the music world, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of gatekeeping and clicks and
Oh yeah.
earning your spot and trying to get your name out there can be
Yep. Yeah.
a
It's
little
it.
challenging.
Yeah. I wouldn't even know how in the old days without the internet how people did it. Because just like you said, back then it really had to be who you knew. And now some people are making it through YouTube and Reels, and they're just getting lucky and getting discovered that way. But the old days they didn't have that. So and it's still, I got family that's in the music business. Um, a guy named Michael Spriggs. He is married to my cousin and lives down in Nashville. He's been doing. He's got his own uh, producing company and everything. But yeah, he won't even talk about it unless you're in the industry with him. And yep, I get it. Yep, I see it all the time. I remember being at their house, and my cousin says, you would get along so great with Alan Jackson. He just loves cars too. And I said, oh, that's cool. I'd love to meet him. She goes, oh, well, we just can't take anybody over there. I was like, oh,
Not
well,
just anybody.
yeah.
Well,
I
don't
said,
bring it up, ma'am.
that's what I was thinking. Why are we even talking about it? Oh, and by the way,
Dangling
your
carrots
husband's
there.
car collection sucks. But yeah, no, I definitely get it. It is very.
Oh,
So Operation Encore, they've been great. They've helped me out. I had a comedian on here. He was part of Creative Vets. Uh, I think his name was Daniel White. It's been a while. My memory is shit. So, but yeah, he was hilarious. But that's where I learned about Creative Vets, and it's a great organization too. So
they are
now,
amazing.
now that wasn't the blue guitar I seen that guy sent me, right? That's a different one, right?
That's a different one. Yeah. So the one I got from Creative Vets was an Epiphone. The one that Guy sent you, that was the one that Lloyd Smith gifted. So I joined
Okay.
Operation Encore in 2020. I applied like the end of 2019, and then I got accepted in January of 2020, and then COVID hit. So like all the events they had planned for that year, I didn't get to participate in, but they
Yeah.
did like a really good job of doing a lot of Zoom sessions where we could still interact, and did like songwriting contests and classes and things like that. So it was really neat to be able to do that during COVID and quarantine. Kind of gave
Yeah.
me something to focus on.
Now, so I'm assuming then after COVID and everything, that's when the helping with producing songs and stuff like that came about. Then did they kind of put everything on hold during the COVID time?
Yeah, so we couldn't really travel or go to any shows or anything, obviously. But two of the songs that I have recorded were contests that they held during COVID. So the
Hmm.
Rev It Up was for a racing radio show, and then Silent Anthem was for Not Alone. I can't remember exactly, but that one was written about domestic violence on the rise during quarantine. And
Yeah.
so those two,
So
sorry.
that song, you bringing up Silent Anthem, I love it, by the way. But there's a lot of people that listen to the radio station that love that song too. You know, it, it really surprised me. So the first week that I was airing your song was also it went to be number one. Yeah, I mean, it had the most votes. So absolutely. I mean, that song is obviously resonating with a lot of people because I hear people even in the chats talking about your music and that song. So, and then I found out that the other songs I could have put on there and didn't know. So, but they will be on there starting Sunday. They'll start the new rotation Sunday. So she will
Awesome.
have
Yeah.
more songs on there, everybody.
I've only got 4 songs recorded, and 3 of them are on Spotify. I've got Rev It Up, which is like high octane. I thought about trying to pitch it to NASCAR. I mean,
Absolutely.
shoot high, right? And
Yeah.
then the silent anthem, and then Long Way Home is my newest one, and that one was kind of inspired because I mean, obviously I still travel, and I don't
Yeah.
really have like a home. Um, but I think it kind of plays into the idea behind it is it takes as long as it takes to get to where you're going, especially when you're
Yeah.
healing and you're on your journey and all that good stuff. And I had a mentor one time tell me, "You really should be better by now," and it really hit hard. And I told him, I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I guess I'm taking the long way there.
Yeah.
So I wrote it about taking the long way home.
I don't think it's so much as a race. I think it's more about um, ensuring that you check the block for everything that you need to when you get to that finish line. You know, because if you get to the finish line and you haven't completely healed, you're still going to be living in the past, and you're not going to be able to move forward. So, yeah, I agree. It's not a race. You do what you got to do, and you take your time, and for everybody, it's different. Uh,
Mhm.
I've really here recently. I have really started listening to a lot of people talk about psychedelics, and I'm really fascinated because I've heard a lot of people I respect that are from the special ops side of the house that are talking positive about it. You know,
Yeah.
so the therapy and stuff like that, I don't necessarily believe has to be the man-made stuff anymore. There might be other stuff. I had a lady on here that's really big about cannabis, and I personally that's not for me, but there was listeners on here that wanted to hear about it. So if there's something that can help people, man, you know that's what I'm going to have on this show. And we're at least going to talk about it in here.
Yeah.
So
The cannabis doesn't really do it for me, and I don't have any desire to try
yeah,
psychedelics.
yeah,
Um, my healing really started, and to go back to the long way home, it's like I don't think there really ever is a finish line, and I think you define your own success. And
yep,
um, life is, it's a journey. It's not a race. Like it's too short to race through it, right?
yep.
So you got
That's
to.
what
I try to take my
Brian
time.
Roof just put. He said, "It's not a race; it's a marathon." A lot like podcasting.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta enjoy it. You can't just race through it. But
Yeah,
uh, but yeah, and I don't think there's a finish line, and especially when it comes to healing, and it's not linear, as a lot of people
yep,
say. And it's about enjoying the journey, not to sound cheesy or cliche. But yeah, my healing really started in 2017. I joined a Christian veteran group called Advancing Warriors. My friend Ellie Stevens started it.
hmm,
And I mean, obviously, it's not for everybody because I'm a Christian and not everybody goes that route. But I always had like a thing with like religion and like, um, I thought I was angry at God for a long time and I felt like
yeah,
He didn't protect me and all this other stuff. And through this program, I was able to really heal and find my worth and and, lean into God's grace. And it had a huge impact on my healing. And so I've leaned into that a lot. And then traveling, I mean, I think before when I was moving every year, just trying to figure out where I was going, I might have been running or whatever you want to call it. But now
hmm,
it's like intentional drifting.
yeah,
So it's like you said, when you were driving in the truck, you felt isolated. But for me, van life has forced me out into the world, and I've been more social than I've been in the past. Like it was so easy to isolate myself in my apartment, and I would
yeah,
not even talk to anybody for weeks at a time, and nobody would really notice except for my family, of course. Um, but in van life, like I'm out in the world and I'm visiting friends and family that I haven't seen in years, and I'm meeting new people, and there's not really an option. I mean, obviously, I can go off into the woods for a few weeks if I wanted, and I
yeah,
do sometimes. I'll go off for like 3 or 4 days in the woods and just, write and read and relax.
yeah. I'm gonna be honest. So every time I introduce your song on there, I always say, I hope she's safe because I know yeah, what the path that you're taking and what you're doing, and I know how dangerous the road can be. So I always say I hope she's safe, and I always talk about you traveling. Um, but realistically, I think those kind of things is kind of where inspiration comes from. Like you said, talking about writing and stuff like that. Those moments where when you go off into the woods and you can clear yourself from cell phones and the even the business side of songwriting and get back to what makes you happy and stuff like that. I think that's probably where the best stuff comes from.
A lot of my songs are about traveling and nature and God.
Yeah. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing. I'm a woods guy. I love to go hunting, and I spend a lot of time in the woods. A lot of times I go in there and I don't even care if I shoot anything. I just find a tree, sit down, and just be to myself. Or I'll take my dog and I'll just be with her. But um, so yeah, I do get it. I love. I would prefer to be in the woods than in a big group with anybody. So it's kind of home for me.
Yeah. I make jokes and I tell people I'm the worst van lifer ever because I don't really do any of the like van meetups. Like they have this whole community where they'll like go and like hundreds of vans will hang out or like dozens of vans will hang out. I haven't done any of that yet. Not that I'm against it. I don't know,
Yeah,
when I'm in the city, I'm either playing music or I'm visiting family. When I'm in nature, I'm
yeah.
recharging, I'm writing and I'm reading and so it's like I don't want to go socialize in the woods.
Yeah, no, I get it. Absolutely. So, what kind of band do you got? That's something that we haven't ever talked about. Or is it like a full size conversion van, or is that
Yeah,
what it
so
is?
I bought an empty Ram ProMaster 1500 high roof, and it was completely empty cargo van when I bought it. I traded
Mm-hmm.
in my Jeep for it. Jeep Patriot. I wasn't cool enough for the real Jeep. Um, but yeah, I built it out. It took me 4 months. I had some help. So there's a veteran, an Army veteran up in West Virginia, and he has a company called Mountaineer Van Works, and he donated his time and labor and helped put in my ceiling my vent. He put in my bunk windows. It's like everything that you had to like cut into the body of the van. I was really nervous about, and he did that. And then he gave me a butcher block countertop. Um, and he helped start me on my electrical because I was really nervous about electrical because I was like, I'm gonna catch on fire and die. Um, so he helped put in the like the kind of the meat and potatoes of it, and then he taught me like how to do everything else. So I learned how to run like DC versus AC and things like that.
Mhm.
And then I strung up all my lights, and he helped me string up my fridge, and then I wired my water pump. I think that's all I have: lights, water pump, fridge. Yeah,
Yeah.
a few
So
other things
when
that I missed.
when are you a Instapot cooker or what do you use for cooking?
I have a little mini air fryer.
Okay.
And so I have an EcoFlow generator, and that's what I use for like my 120 because I
Mhm.
wired my 120 wrong. Just
Okay.
gonna put it out there. I'm not an electrician, so everything that I have runs on DC, and it's super simple, and it's been working fine. But my 120 was, um, and then I have a little mini air fryer, and then I have a propane stove that I
Okay.
use. So I
Yeah.
keep it simple.
When I was in the truck, I used the Instapot, and as I'm driving down the road, I'd have something slow cooking in the Instapot.
I'll
So,
put that on my upgrade list.
absolutely.
I love
So,
slow cooker
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, me too. Especially in
in
the
the
wintertime.
winter.
Yeah,
Exactly. Soup,
yeah,
yeah.
yep. I love chili and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So when the gig that's coming up in Alaska. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I know that's kind of a big event. That's with Operation Encore, right?
Yeah, so I can't share a whole lot of details yet because they're still like they haven't released or officially launched yet.
Okay.
But We did a songwriting retreat, Operation Encore, in Camp Southern Ground, and Otts Kilcher came out because he's a Vietnam veteran and a songwriter, and he invited 8 of us veterans up to Alaska for the summer, or sorry, for just June, for like 10 days in June. Um, and he wants to start his own retreat on his homestead, and we are going to help kind of start it, like build the foundation.
Yeah.
Not how much actual building we're going to be doing in those 10 days, but he said we're going to be felling trees like with an axe and stuff out in the wilderness. And
Yeah.
he's going to take us down to the peninsula, I think, to do some fishing. They've got like a professional campfire chef that's going to be out there. I'm really
Wow.
excited to learn some campfire cooking.
Yeah.
Um, and then we're going to be singing the summer solstice concert on the Homer Spit, and then we'll do some after parties. Like there's 8 of us, so they're going to pair us off, and there'll be 4 after parties that we'll each
Oh, wow.
do. Yeah.
That's cool. Shannon was talking about this too, and he was the recording I did with him was several months ago, so I really didn't know much about it. And now as it's getting closer, I'm starting to see other artists talking about it. So,
Yeah.
and I'm putting pieces together from what he told me. But yeah,
It's
it
hard
sounds.
because I don't want to say too much because I don't want to steal their thunder.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's going to be a really good time, and I'm excited. And
yeah.
I had already had hopes for like going to Alaska this summer because
Hmm.
my 1 year anniversary in my van was May 8th. So I've been in the van a year now, and I had hopes to go to Alaska, but I didn't really know like how I was going to get there. And then Oz invited me out there with the group, and I was like, well, that's like my cue to go out there.
Yeah.
So I decided to make a whole summer of it. And I was talking to Schaefer and his wife, Kat,
Hmm.
um, they because they're moving out there, so we're
Yep.
talking about doing hiking, and they know the area already.
Yeah.
Schaefer said Schaefer like knows the music scene, so
Yep.
I'll try I'll try to play some gigs out there for the summer and do all my
Yeah.
bucket list items.
So Schaefer was gigging in Alaska while he was still in the military. Um, he was kind of like on the fence of, am I going to stay in? Am I not? And I think, his wife deciding to stay in is kind of what made him decide to move forward and get out. And the success that he was having in Alaska with, not even having to advertise, just the different bars that he was playing at would talk to other bar owners. The next thing you know, he's getting a phone call from them. And he had like 4 or 5 places he played at regularly. So, I mean, he never had a hard time finding a gig. So, yeah, that's definitely the right person, I think, to show you around. I was talking with him last night about when I found out that they were going to Alaska, and I said, man, that's a bucket list thing. I said, I want to go out there and go hunting. He said, let's go. I said, well, let me look at it and see if maybe 2024 I can figure out the money and afford to get out there, because yeah, I'd love to go fishing, go moose hunting, deer hunting. I don't care. Just to be out there and see the wilderness in Alaska. That would be
I think
awesome.
this summer is moose season.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to go elk hunting, and I don't think it's the right season. I think it's moose season.
So I wanted to go elk hunting too, and then I started researching it and watching it, and I was like, I'm kind of fat. I don't know that I can keep up. So I would have to get back in shape, because that's a lot of running and a lot of mountain climbing and a lot of packing.
Oh man, I didn't think about all that.
What's
I
that?
like I didn't think about all that. I like hiking, but I've got health issues that keep me pretty slow.
Yeah, for me, I don't mind like the hikes. I can hike for a long distance. It's the climbing in the hills. When you start adding hills to it, that's where I'm not a fan. I'm a Nebraska kind of guy, flat.
But the view at the top's so worth it.
It is. It is. I don't disagree. I would, like I said, it's a bucket list. It's probably the only thing that's on my bucket list, to be honest, is just to go to Alaska sometime. So
Oh man.
yeah, I think it. Especially like to see like the northern lights and stuff like that. That's yeah,
I was talking to Michael who lives up there. I was like, I had that on my bucket list, and he was like, "You're not going to see him in the summer because the sun doesn't go down."
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, I forgot about that."
Well, maybe that's how he's planning on getting all this building done in 10 days. Is y'all ain't sleeping. The sun don't go down, so you just keep working.
Yeah, I know. Little cat naps here and there.
Yeah, he's gonna rotate you out. the old
Yeah,
military way, fire watch. Absolutely.
it's
So,
gonna be.
if out of your four songs you got, what song is your favorite? What is the one that you resonate the most to?
So I think "Long Way Home" is probably the closest to kind of what getting. I feel like I'm still trying to like discover, not really discover because I know who I am and I know
Hmm.
the sound that I want, but getting it out of my head onto the guitar in the
Yeah.
songwriting still what I'm working on. And I think Long Way Home is probably the closest. Um, Stones and Soil, I didn't write that song. It was Lloyd Smith's song that I'm playing as
Hmm.
part of the guitar um, donation. But I love that song. It's so pretty. It's
Yeah.
very sorrowful, but I love it because sad songs make me happy. I mean, Rev It Up is fun. People seem to like that one. And then Silent Anthem, it's just hard hitting, I think, just for the,
Yeah.
topic. But Long Way Home, it's upbeat and it's kind of my stick it to you for the one that told me I was taking too long to heal.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the way it should be. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I've learned so much since I've started this journey. With the podcast first. Because I met so many just different people, a lot of different organizations out there that I didn't even know about, and people laugh, but I'm gonna tell you, I was one of those guys that hated social media because it always made me mad. I always seen things in my feed that would piss me off and just negativity, right? And since I started this podcast, and I do credit the podcast for this, I am constantly on Facebook looking for new people that want to come on the show, learning about new organizations, and I don't see any of that negativity in my feed anymore. It's always different artists now that are coming up, different comedians are popping up, different nonprofits. That is all my feed is. And it's taken a couple of years to get to that point, but I don't see any politics anymore. I don't see any of that stuff. And by just not searching it anymore and turning into what we're doing now has just been amazing. So the journey, like you said, following that journey and just not caring where it takes you and just being in the moment, I think is the most important thing. And that's what I love about this podcast. That's another reason why I never changed the name or anything, because it's me. I do like it. And now, with the radio show, it's, I'm finding another passion, another side of me that I didn't even think, and even doing the lives now, up until a couple months ago, we never even did our live shows. They were always pre-recorded and I edited them. And so I'm kind of getting out of my comfort zone and just allowing real to be real, and not caring. So I
This is
think
my
that
first live podcast, so
is it.
yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, it's a lot of fun, and when you have people on that uh, are good guests to talk to and they're very interesting, man, it makes the job real easy, And I think the area that we're at with veterans, I mean, you don't never have a hard time finding somebody interesting to talk to. There's always somebody that's got a new idea, or I think that's just the way the veterans are. They're always improving their foxhole, and then when you find it and you learn about it, and you just keep going forward. You know, I didn't
It's
realize how
funny.
many. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just saying it's funny because I've never been like much of a talker. Like
Hmm.
growing up, I was very quiet. Like I'd barely talk above a whisper, and I made myself join cheerleading to force myself to be louder. And then
Hmm.
obviously I did military. Um, but like I was talking to my friend, I was like, I don't know how to like talk about myself, but these podcasts are kind of helping me like
Yeah.
learn how to tell my story.
Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
grateful for you guys giving me the chance to be on here.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. It always feels kind of awkward, especially veterans, because veterans don't really like talking about themselves. So it feels awkward. And in your business, you have to sell yourself too. That's part
Yeah.
of it. To get your information, your songs, and everything else out there. So with any good thing, there's always the bad side, and the business side is always the bad side. And I say the same thing about the radio station. You know, my idea was so simple. I was just going to create a radio station. We're just going to play songs. We're going to have a good time. And then I learned there's actually a business side to that and
You
licensing. And
gotta promote it.
yeah, yeah, I don't even care about the promotion. I was just, because there's a lot of people that follow the podcast. So I just like, well, I'll just tell them they're all going to love it. And it was the copyright people and all those types of things that I was like, oh, this ain't the fun side.
Oh yeah, I'm still learning about all that too.
Yeah, yeah, I had a crash course too. But it's well worth it. And like I said, I credit Operation Encore for pushing me to do that because if it wasn't for Guy, I probably would have just said, forget this, And
Guy's great.
yeah, he is. He is an awesome dude. He has helped me so much, and I can't. And that's why that veteran hour that I have, even though it's all veteran music that I have anyways, but that Operation Encore hour that I dedicate, it'll never go away. It'll always be there because I'm grateful for what he's done, and I listen to all the artists. You're not the only person that said that. Shannon, Scotty, all of them, Schaefer, they all love Guy. I mean, he's done. Nobody has said anything, but I assume he's done a lot of stuff for you guys to have that many people say that much good stuff about him. So
Yeah,
I
he's very
absolutely,
passionate about Operation Encore and his veterans.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I can tell by the way, the conversations that we've had, and he's a veteran too, you know. And then I think isn't he, I think he was a veteran.
No, Guy's not a
No,
veteran.
okay,
No,
yeah. I thought he was saying
he's
maybe
very
he was talking about the board members. I don't
there.
remember.
Yeah, there's a lot of board members that are veterans. Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably what he was talking about. But yeah, I know he's a good guitarist. Shannon was telling me about that.
he is. I love when he like sends songs he's working on, and he has his YouTube that he started during the quarantine, and
Hmm.
he started doing those, and now there's like a gazillion. I don't even know the number now.
I'm gonna have to check him out. So I didn't know he was on YouTube.
Yeah, he's got a whole station and plays guitar and sings, and he like collaborates with friends and stuff. So I'll have some of those on there.
Oh man, I'm gonna go stalk him.
Yeah, I that's one thing I really need to do better at is like actually posting music because people ask for it, and it's like I don't even have an excuse. I don't know why I don't post more music. I think half the time it's because maybe van life. I haven't showered in like 3 days. I actually showered today, so
Do you have your professional driver's card from all the truck stops to get fuel and get free showers?
no, I actually haven't done much with truck stops. I haven't showered at a truck stop. I use Planet Fitness or
Oh, okay,
campground.
now that makes
I
sense.
have
Yeah,
a little mini hobbit shower in my van, but I've only used it twice.
yeah,
So it's for emergencies only. There's no hot water, and it's kind of awkward. You have to like, I'm not even gonna go into it. It's awkward.
yeah. I can tell you. I remember the first showers in Afghanistan because we were there shortly after it opened up, and it was set a 5 gallon jug of water on top of a container all day and let it get warm, and then at night we had holes pounded in the end of it so it sprinkled water out, and that's how we
I've
were
used that.
showering.
That's how. So when I was obviously when I was on Al Saad, we had the nice little showers behind the flight line. But when I was out doing the lioness thing, we went to Haklania, and they hadn't gotten their running water out there yet. So
Hmm.
we went into we were in an old schoolhouse, and they had like little crates over the old toilet holes, and
Yeah.
you stood on the crate, and then you strung up a water bottle and poked holes in the bottom of it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I remember those.
Yeah. Washing the clothes. I had my wife send me a washboard. The old my hand washboard. That's how I was
Really,
washing my clothes. Yeah. Yep.
that's funny.
It was crazy when Afghanistan first, because it was like Mad Max. There was no unity. Everybody had their own little camps. We all had our own little power set up. There was no prime power for the whole camp. There was no porta johns. There was none of that stuff. We were sleeping in mud huts that used to be hotels for the airport there at Kandahar, and it was crazy. But it's some of the best days and best stories of my life. I wouldn't change a thing, not a thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, my 1 month as a lioness was my favorite time in the Marine Corps, simply because I felt like I was actually doing Marine stuff, like
Yeah.
Marines.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. So let me ask this because I didn't ask earlier. What was it that made you go into the Marines? Did you check out any of the other branches, or was like family or something kind of push you towards the Marine? What was it that made you choose the Marines? Especially because you said you were shy. So
It
the
was kind
Marines
of
is
so. My older sister did Army National Guard, and so I followed her, and I actually did Army National Guard for 2 years,
okay.
and then I wanted to go into the Air Force. I had an uncle that worked for NASA, and I wanted to be an aerospace physiologist. So I went to the Air Force recruiter, and they weren't taking prior service. And
Yep.
I walked out of the Air Force office, and there was a Marine smoking. And he asked me if I was joining the Air Force, and I said, no, they won't take me. And he said, well, come on, we'll take you. And I literally, at the time, thought that Marines were only infantry. So I didn't even know I could join the Marines. It wasn't even on my radar. But I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to get out of where I was. I'd already graduated. I did the 2 years Army National Guard. When I'd gotten out of that, I actually went down to Florida for a little bit for what I thought was a magazine job. It ended up being something awful. I was actually abducted off an elevator. Um, I was 19, and I
Wow.
had this whole thing happen. I won't go into the details, but I was done. Like I needed to get out of where I was, and I wanted to be around honorable people, good people that
Yeah.
I wanted like a mission. I wanted to be doing something meaningful. So I wanted to go in the military. I wanted to go active duty, and I looked into the Air Force, and I thought I was going to do that, but God had other plans. He
Yeah.
directed me to the Marines for whatever reason. I
Yeah.
loved being, I loved putting on my uniform. I loved every time I laced up my boots, and like I felt so powerful, and
Yeah.
I loved wearing my uniform for better or worse, good and bad from the Marine Corps. I loved being a Marine.
I think that's important for any branch. I don't care what branch it is. I know we all give the Air Force and Navy guys a bunch of crap and everything, but you should feel that when you put on that uniform, the people that have gone before you. You know, there's a phrase. So I was in the 160th for 10 years, and there's a phrase or a creed, and the last line is. Um, I go with the pride of those who've gone before me, for they love to fight, fought to win, and would rather die than quit. And I remember that, and the uh, those words mean a lot. And I think if you don't have that sense of pride, you might be in the wrong business because we're not talking about people that founded. We're talking about people that died fighting. You know, so you should feel that pride, and everybody that is. Um, out there that's in, they should dig into that history and feel that sense of pride of what they had accomplished all the way back to World War II and Korea. There's a lot of neat stories out there. Even the Coast Guard. I had a Coast Guard vet on here last week, and man, I didn't even know some of the stuff that he was talking about. I didn't know that we actually fought some of World War II on American soil in Alaska. And so there's a lot of neat stories from the military, and I think it's important that people know that stuff. Jason Stein says, "Hey, from Hero Stock."
Oh
So
hey,
I
I'm
know
gonna
I
be
can.
I'm gonna be stopping into Hero Stock in Nebraska on the way back from Alaska to Philly.
Well, that is awesome because I'm going to be there,
Oh,
so I'll get to
well,
meet you.
look at me.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to be up there to do. I'm going to live stream the concert for him, and that lineup that he's trying to put together already for 2024 is just going to
Yeah.
be crazy. So Scotty is going to be there this year, and next year I think he wants Shannon, Sal Gonzalez. I can't remember who else, but it was a lot of people. So
Yeah, I'm excited.
yep.
I'll be there to cheer them on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I'm gonna tell you, it won't be long. Probably he's probably typing up the email now, but he'll be contacting you. I promise.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, yeah. Jason's a great guy, man. He really is. And this will be my so I'm a Hero Stock virgin, so this will be my first one. But everything I've seen. and just the little bit that I talked to him, yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing event.
Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done any like big festivals. I'm actually playing the Vet Fest in Philly in
Hmm.
September. Operation Encore connected me with that. Shannon's gonna be there, and Adam Gaffney, I think I'm saying his name right, is gonna be there. So that it'll
Okay.
be like my first official festival or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
I'm
I think.
excited.
Yeah, I think those are the. I think those are the best ones, man. I really do. Last year I went to one called Betapalooza, and they had a few military bands and a military comedian that was hosting it, or yeah, hosting it. And man, what a great time! I mean, there's so many veterans there, and just everybody there you could just walk up and talk to because you just felt like you knew them even though you didn't. So yeah, and I think that's the way that a lot of those veteran um, kind of organizations go. When they put them together. So
I think it took me a long time to feel like I belonged in any veteran community. Um, like when I was in the Marines, I was one of two females. I didn't really feel like I belonged. And my first week in the fleet, my friend Stack kind of was taking me under his wing, and we'd be walking to the chow hall, and he'd be like quizzing me on Marine Corps knowledge and like telling me like what I need to do to like gain rank and all this kind of stuff. Completely professional, right? The
hmm.
first sergeant brought us into the office for fraternization because he was a corporal and I was lance corporal. And it kind of like divided me. Like I wasn't allowed to talk to any of the guys because they were higher ranking, and so
Yeah,
it kind of isolated me a little bit. And then obviously with other shit that happened, I struggled a lot with even wanting to be in veteran communities.
yeah,
Um, so it took a lot for me to even go to a lot of veteran events, but my most favorite had to be Advancing Warriors. I really felt like I connected there with men and women in the community.
yeah,
And then Operation Encore has been really awesome. Creative X was really awesome. So those are some of my favorites so far.
yeah.
But
And those are good organizations. Scotty or not Scotty, Shannon talks a lot about the Warrior one. I think didn't he just go to an event with them? I
with
think
who?
that's what he with the that Warrior one that you were just talking about.
Advancing Warriors?
Yeah, Advancing Warriors.
I
I
don't think
believe
so.
I thought that was maybe it's something else that he does, but he just got certified with an organization. It's for medics. It's for military medics. I think is what it's
Oh
for.
no, that's not. Advancing Warriors is a Christian veteran
Oh,
community.
okay, yeah, yeah. No, this is something different. See, I'm
I'm
gonna.
actually trained as a facilitator through Advancing Warriors, and I'll be doing a women's group starting in July. Which, if there's any female veterans watching and you're interested, hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. Let me know. We're still adding to that, and then maybe at some point I'll do co-ed. But right now I'm just doing the female one. But they do have male only and co-ed. And if you go on their website, advancingwarriors.org, you can also email info@advancingwarriors.org, I think, but it's all on their website. Dan's great. He runs a lot of the male groups. And then Ellie, she's just one of my favorite people in the world.
That's
She just
awesome.
released a book.
Oh, I think we lost you.
Am I here?
Oh, yep, you're
Oh,
back.
sorry. Yeah, so she just published a book in October. It's called Unshackled.
Hmm.
And my testimony is in there under a pseudonym
Wow.
because it's scary to share your story, especially when it's not this wonderful war story that people love to hear about. That's all heroic. Um, my story has some ugly parts to it that are hard to share.
Yeah.
Uh, and so part of putting it out there, I felt a little safer under a pseudonym.
No, I get that. I do. I really do. I kind of thought that myself when I started this whole podcast thing. I don't want people to know my real name when they found out how bad it was. But I'm going to introduce you to another organization that I think you guys could work out and do great things with. So there was a medic that my last deployment I was with her. She was in E4, and Her name is Brooke Jackson, and we always joked with her because every time we seen her, if she wasn't doing something military related, she had her nose in a book. Well, she ended up becoming a doctor, and when she got out, she was an officer, and she started an organization there in South Carolina called She's the Veteran, and it's strictly for.
Oh, hang on a second.
Okay.
Ah, I'm listening. She's the veteran.
Yep, She's the Veteran. So it's a organization designed to help with research for women and female veterans that have PTSD and TBI and just other mental health issues.
Yeah,
And
that's
when I talked to her, I didn't think about it, but she really, when she talked to me, I said, "Man, I never thought about this." But the way women and men, deal with things is completely different. So the way we hide and deal with PTSD is also going to be completely different. And that's where her organization comes in. So I'm gonna introduce you, and maybe there's something you guys can do together.
absolutely.
You
There's
know,
not a whole lot out there just for female vets, and
there ain't. Yeah, you're right.
it's nice. So when I was in Phoenix, I met up with my friend Amanda, and I went to a women's veteran brunch. And it's hard enough to find like Marines when you're in a group of veterans, let alone women Marines. And this group had 7 of us in that
Wow.
group. So I got to hang out with a bunch of women Marines, and a lot of them were like from older generations, which was really neat. And I always say I wish I had a really good female leadership when I went in, because I did struggle with like the isolation and trying to
Yeah.
figure out what I was doing, and um, all the other bullshit. So it was just really cool to connect with them. And we're not in anymore, but still finding that connection
Yeah.
now is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I agree. And she was one of the first people we had on our podcast in season one. She was I don't know, like probably within the top 10 of people, and it's to this day it's still one of my favorite episodes because, and I still follow her organization, and they've got an event coming up for Women's Veterans Day, June 12th, and I've been sharing that all over the radio station because I think it's important to get that word out there because, like you said, there's not a lot of organizations out there that is just for female veterans, and
Yeah.
I think it's important to get that out. And I've had female veterans come on, and I never, I feel bad because I never thought about it. It's not that I didn't care; it never crossed my mind. But I've had a lot of female veterans that come on the show, and I hear the same stories about how they'll be sitting at the VA, and somebody's wife will say, "Oh, is your husband here?"
Yeah.
And they don't even look at you like you could be a veteran.
They're like, they treat you as if you're the wife or girlfriend. And
Yep.
yeah, even in veteran communities, it's like, oh, did your husband serve? I'm like,
Yeah.
I served. Or, and then you have to like show pictures. They're like, well, you don't look like a Marine. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you mean by that, but here's a picture of me in my uniform to prove that I was in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just bad how stereotypical we are without even knowing it. Not even trying to be it, but I mean it is, and
Yeah.
and I've seen it, and I think that's another reason why I push her organization because I learned so much from it, and I feel like she's got a lot out there to teach. So I'm definitely going to hook you guys up, and
Cool.
they do a lot of events and a lot of Zoom um, meetings. They have like I don't want to lie and say it's a week or a month. I don't remember which. It's one of the two, and they have Zoom group sessions and meetings, and then they have I don't know if it's quarterly. I don't know her schedule, but they do outings. They've done some horse activities and some fishing activities and just different things where it's just women veterans getting together and doing stuff. So
That's the one thing with my van life is I don't belong to a specific community, like a town or anything like that. So
yep.
when I was in Phoenix and they were like talking about things they were doing in the community, I'm like, that sounds awesome. Bye. I'm leaving tomorrow.
Well, you did get to see an awesome cactus, though.
Yeah. Well, I had a cactus in my ankle when I was hiking in the Grand Canyon. Just popped up and jumped a ride.
I bet you that wasn't as pretty as the one with the flowers, though.
No, it was beautiful. It just didn't belong on my ankle.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
They look so fake. The big tall ones, I don't even know what they're called, but the
Yeah, I
big,
don't either.
they look fake.
Yeah,
It was crazy. They're as big as trees.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They look fluffy, like they're stuffed. is
Yeah.
what is what it looked like in that picture. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, do you have a website, or is just majority of your music on Spotify, or where can people find more about you?
So I have a link tree that has my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I just started TikTok. Um, and then I have Spotify. Anywhere there's like streaming, I should be available, like
Okay.
iTunes, Spotify, YouTube.
Well,
Um, I don't have an actual website, just a link tree.
okay. Well, I will make sure that I post your link tree link in the description. That's for sure. And I'm sure we're not a on demand, but I've started that request line on Saturday nights now, so I'm sure we'll get a lot of people requesting to hear the song we did last week.
Awesome.
So well, I appreciate you coming on, and I can't wait to see what you guys come up with, because I know there's gonna be some great music coming, especially with the life that you're living right now.
Yeah,
You're
I think when I'm done with this, I'm gonna do a little video of my song "If I Make It to Alaska." I wrote it specifically for this journey, and I'm like halfway through the journey, and I haven't posted it anywhere. So, but
yeah.
it's my first song where I'm like finger picking, so
Uh-huh.
challenging. It's like
Yeah.
if I'm playing guitar, my voice isn't 100% there, and then if I'm just singing, obviously I don't have a guitar; it's a cappella. But I do my best, and I get better every day. So
Yeah. And I do agree. You should start posting some TikToks or reels with you singing.
yeah,
And I will share the shit out of them. I promise you.
thank
So
you.
I will make sure that the world sees it. At least my little part of it, anyways.
I appreciate that.
So, but I definitely appreciate you coming on, and you be safe out there. But like I said, I always keep you in my prayers, because that the way you're living, man, it's dangerous. I know the kind of people out there. So
Well, I don't interact with shady folks anymore.
yeah,
I keep to myself on the road. I don't go to truck stops that much. Um, Cracker Barrels and WalMarts, campgrounds, KOAs, some BLM lands, but I have a weapon, which I can't bring it into Canada, so I don't
yeah,
know how I'm gonna do that. Someone told me today I can't even bring my knives into Canada or my bear spray.
they are very strict.
I'm like,
They're
well, I guess I'm gonna have to brush up on some, McMap or something.
yeah, make a treasure map. I mean, worst come to worst, you could send the weapon to your sister or something, as like a through FFL, and then she could.
Yeah, so I was gonna ship it to Alaska, but I still won't have it in Canada. So hopefully nobody tries to mess with me. Which I haven't had to use it the whole year I've been in the van so far. So,
Yeah.
but I feel like when you need it, you won't have it, kind of thing.
Yep.
Versus,
Yep.
I don't know. It's
I
annoying.
agree. Yeah. No, I definitely get it.
Come
And
on, Canada.
exactly. You legalize weed, legalize some gun. Yeah, they're even bitchy about like airsoft guns. They can't be over a certain um, rating of how much air
Yeah.
pressure and stuff. I mean,
Well, it's not like
they're
I'm trying to bring in like a whole arsenal. I just have like a very tiny handgun for self personal protection.
yeah,
So I don't know.
yeah. I agree. I do agree. Well, you be safe, and we will continue to pull your music, and I will share anything that you put out there. So,
Appreciate it.
all right, you take care.
Thank you, you too.
Bye bye.